to a new edition of Windows on Basma Taha. The Grand Egyptian Museum is indeed Egypt's gift to the entire world. It is expected to attract millions of visitors each and every year. We will tackle the role of GEM in boosting tourism, as well as the beautiful landmarks and tourist destinations in Egypt that dazzled and still dazzling the entire world. And to shed more light on this issue, I'm honored to have here in the studio Mr. Salah Hedayat, tourism expert. Thank you so much, Mr. Salah, for joining us on Nile TV International.
Yes, good evening.
Thank you so much.
Well,
good evening.
for me to be with you tonight.
Yes, at the beginning, Egypt is listed as one of the top 10 African tourist destinations in 2025. How do you see the significance of that?
Okay, let's start from last year first.
Yes.
Egypt going for a great progress in the last 10 years. If we compare between the numbers about 2024 and 2014. In 2014, Egypt received about 5.9 million or 7.9 million in the year 2014. But 2024 we received about 15 million and 800,000 tourists during the last year. So we talk about a huge progress, lead Egypt to be one of the top 10 countries in the whole Africa to receive our guests from different destinations in the world for who looking for different patterns in Egypt. For sure, the last excavations or last discoveries in Egypt encourage people to come to visit Egypt one more time. So last year I received more and more guests, or we call them repeaters. They come to repeat them tours in Egypt after last time, because they know very well they're coming to see something new, something look very special to discover in Egypt.
Dr. Zay Hawass, the famous Egyptologist, said that the year 2025 will witness more archaeological discoveries.
Exactly. Dr. Zay Hawass now, he's so close to discover a new pyramid still kept below the sand in the desert of Saqqara. Also, Dr. Zay Hawass last month announcing his huge discovery around the Hatshepsut temple, which called Deir Bahari in Luxor. Actually, this discovery changed the history.
Yes.
Because all over the history we saw that King Thutmose III, the stepson of Hatshepsut, who started his campaign against the Hatshepsut queen and also her temple, to demolish her name and demolish the temple and her paintings and her inscriptions. But now, after a new discovery, we found that Thutmose III make restoration for her temple. How he able to go in for restoration and then he going to destroy the temple. So it changes the history. So now the question, who is going to trying to remove the name of Hatshepsut from the history?
Also, Mr. Salah, if you allow me, also these discoveries shows Egypt leading global status in the field of global antiquities, and also it shows the genius of ancient Egyptians and also the greatness of Egyptian civilization history, of course.
For sure. Let's say last year it was a great year for excavations, especially in Saqqara, which now changes the visit plan. So now, or let's say a couple of years ago, the tourists come just to visit the pyramid, come to visit the Egyptian museum, and then maybe if we can add some other tours for other buildings or places or sites in Egypt, it will be fine for them. So we can say each program in each company just lead for maybe 8 to 10 days maximum. But now we can now put a program for 14 days. Now we can, the tourists coming to ask, we need a full day just in Saqqara, not just for a couple of hours or maybe 3 hours. But now they're asking for a full day because they know very well they're coming to see everything new no one see until now.
And also, Mr. Salah, besides these discoveries, also Egypt is well known for its beautiful weather, as well as the different kinds of tourism, of course, cultural tourism, medical tourism, religious tourism.
Okay, if we compare between Egypt and the other 10 countries in the top 10 list of tourism in Africa, you can find each country they are special for something, but or have one patterns of tourism inside this country. But in Egypt here we have the whole patterns in the world now you can find in Egypt. Egypt was before very well known about the culture tourism, antiquities tourism, museum tourism, but now we have another patterns like medical tourism, like we have now also event tourism, we have sports tourism, beach tourism,
Safari.
Safari in the desert, also going for the camping,
Cruises.
camping and the cruises and
From
Nile.
Luxor and to Aswan.
Exactly, and Nile tourism. We have every single pattern of tourism now you can find in Egypt, especially after Egypt now inaugurating some new cities in the coast. We're now going to lead also the coast tourism or the beach tourism in the Middle East. After now we just have Gurgada, just have Sharm el-Sheikh. Now we have Sharm el-Sheikh, Nuweiba, Taba, Dahab. Also for the north coast we have Alamein, we have Mars Matruh, north coast. All this lead Egypt now to be what a forward step in the, also in the Mediterranean Sea Gulf tourism. Just this area going for Turkey, going for Italy, Greece, but now Egypt will be a part of this
And
industry.
also medical tourism, Safaga Sand, Siwa.
Safaga and Siwa and Ayub Musa, and last year also Egypt was the first step to have the first medical tourism complex. It will be in Egypt here and supposed to open after a couple of years.
Well, moving to the Grand Egyptian Museum, the GEM, and it is expected to attract millions of visitors. How do you see its role and its significance in boosting tourism?
Okay, about the Grand Egyptian Museum, we are talking about the grandest museum all over the world built for a single civilization, which is Egyptian civilization. So we talk about a space, it's 500,000 meters square. It's the space of the museum. And the
Very
museum,
big, very huge.
a huge museum. And also Egyptian Museum in Egypt here now give our guests a very special adventure or very special visit inside the museum. For example, we'll talk about a complex of museums, not just a museum. We have the Children Museum, a 3D vulture trip. Also we have an
Galleries,
galleries
exhibitions,
and exactly and shopping center with the restaurants.
huge gardens,
Exactly,
conservation
exactly,
center,
exactly.
education facilities.
So we're going to start by the from we enter the Egyptian Museum, Grand Egyptian Museum, we can find the obelisk of King Ramses II. It's also a very special obelisk we discover in Egypt, because until now it's the only obelisk we discover with a cartouche in the bottom of the obelisk. It's never found anymore until now. Also going to the museum about the design of the facade, looking so modernized with another brief about the history. So we talk about 600 meter is the long of the facade, with the height of 46 meters. Have a 3 pyramids representing the 3 pyramids of the kings in the Giza complex. King Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure was covered by alabaster stone, which is a very natural and very special stone we can able to discover in Egypt. Then find King Ramses II welcome our guests with one of the highest statues in Egypt, 12 meters high, to showing King Ramses II, which was before located in the Ramses Square in Cairo, and then now moved to the Grand Egyptian Museum at 2006. Also the grand galleries and also the great corridor or the great staircase. This all give a huge briefing about Egyptian history for different ages. We'll not just talk about the Egyptian era from which started before 3100 BC to 332 BC when Alexander the Great conquered Egypt. But now the Grand Museum extended for the Greek and Roman era to show Egypt how Egypt has a variety or diverse culture country.
Also, Mr. Salah, UNESCO lists the Grand Egyptian Museum as one of the most beautiful museums in the world. And this is indeed a source of pride not only for Egyptians but for all the Arab countries, of course.
Exactly. Also the UNESCO showing that or announcing that the Grand Egyptian Museum, it's a culture project of the 21st century for all over the world. Because you know what the value to have a museum like that, even the idea behind or the thoughts about why is this special place to be close from Giza pyramids.
Yes.
And also by the project of make Giza a global heritage site. It's the vision of Egypt at 2030 to have connected between the Grand Museum and the Giza complex, which now we have a project to have a bridge connected between the museum and the Grand Giza complex to be like and to make easier transportation for all our guests to enjoy and visit in one day tour to choose or to have this tour composite in one tour.
And if you allow me, also the opening on the 3rd of July will witness the attendance of presidents, kings, many high-ranking officials, and also the inauguration will not be limited to just one day, right? It will
Exactly,
be
exactly.
for
It will
several
extend
days.
and several days. They now talk about a week, yeah, because
Many
now.
events will be held during
Sure,
this
sure,
week,
sure.
many significant
Our two
events.
celebrities from the world, we talk about the whole world celebrities coming to attend the Grand Egyptian Museum, in addition to kings and presidents and prime ministers from all nations in the world. And also from that, Egypt sent a message for the whole world. Egypt is safe. If you are not make sure about Egypt's safety, we're not asking any other president to come to welcome them in Egypt.
Sure.
Sure. So it shows the ability of Egypt about security in Egypt, transportations.
Show the progress that were carried out,
Exactly.
that was carried out in the country, and also it is an opportunity to show the beautiful landmarks in Egypt.
Sure, for sure, for sure. We now open a new patterns for all world. If people, especially after the war of the 7th of October, a lot of people be worried to come to Egypt. So we are so lucky to have this inauguration that time. For example, when you're going for other countries like for example Australia, when you're trying to book a flight ticket from any other city in Australia to come to Egypt, they tell you alert, take care, Egypt not safe to go there. Middle East is not safe to ban there. But now we send a message, Egypt is safe. We are welcome everyone to come to visit our site. In addition to, we ask the president and the kings to be able to come to enjoy the time in Egypt. Even in the 3rd of July, it's we can say one of the historical days in our history for sure.
Great. Also, what kinds of special events will be held during 2025 in the museum?
Okay. If we have a look for the all events we have in 2023 and 2024, the Grand Egyptian Museum going to be modernized as all museums have now. So if we talk about now in the Louvre Museum, they have a special hall for wedding parties, special hall for food sessions. It's being held in the Louvre Museum, also in the British Museum in London. So the management of the or administration of the Grand Museum going to for the same way. Why not we have a special events like the concert of Sopron and Dr. Maestro Dr. Nader Al-Abbasi. It was last year. Even last year also we have a special event or a special concert for the birthday of Kulthum, the famous singer in Egypt, the legend of Egyptian singer, Egyptian song. Also special events like an exception like Tutankhamun. Exception, it was amazing, and to have a 3D vulture show, it was amazing to attend that. We also have last year, and they're also announcing that after the inauguration we have many of these events coming all the year.
Also, Mr. Salah, how do you see the design of the Grand Egyptian Museum that entails the modern vision and also the ancient history?
Okay. When they put design of the museum, I really was really amazed about or wonder what has he did there. Sure, we know about the Abu Simbel temple. It's just a couple of days in the year, the 22 October, 22 February, when the sunrise enters the temple of Abu Simbel. So when they put the design of the facade of the Grand Egyptian Museum, they also repeat again the same move to have the sunrise be vertical on the face of King Ramses' statue inside the museum, like our ancestors did before in his temple in Abu Simbel. Also the design of the facade or the museum, when you feel a brief like a modernized building in the 21st century, but at the same time you feel like something looking heritage in the place, looking for the history at the same time. By the design of the facade, then enter the museum to have the great staircase and beginning at 60 floors and 600 meters square. You're going to have this by elevating by the elevator to reach to see the whole artifacts, which more than 2,000 artifacts in just we talk about 600 meters square. And then from the elevating we can find Tutankhamun chamber, and then find the great galleries which are now showing in very special topics like kingship and society and beliefs in ancient Egypt.
Well, and also how do you see the role of the JAM in preserving Egypt's heritage and antiquities?
Okay, the road of the JAM now, Egyptian Giza government and Cairo government unified the whole colors of the buildings and also put the labels or banners have an Egyptian kings and queens and Egyptian sites to make feel also for anyone coming to visit the museum, or on the way even for locals to know more about them histories, know more about them kings, about them queens who lead one time before they lead the whole world. Also, the special thing in the Grand Egyptian Museum, for first time all over the history, we're going to see Tutankhamun treasure gathering again in one chamber. Since Howard Carter moved the artifact from the tomb in Valley of Kings to Cairo at 1922, it's again first time to be gathering again in one chamber. We talk about more than 5,300 artifacts.
Great. Allow me to go to a short break and then we will be back. So dear viewers, a short break and we will be back to resume our discussion, so stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers, and still with Mr. Salah Hedayat, tourism expert. Welcome once again, and talking about the new discoveries, the new archaeological discoveries at Queen Hatshepsut Temple. We need to learn more from you about these discoveries and also their role in boosting tourism.
Okay. For the whole year, for the season of excavations, usually start in October and end at April. So every single year we have a very successful season. And we said, okay, what about next year? What else we're going to find? So last year we end the, you can say the season by discovering new tombs in the Abu Hawa mountain in, or the cemetery in Aswan, which lead us to know more about the history of the city, sorry, or the history of Nubia in the, during the Egyptian rule. Then later on this season, we started by Dr. Hawass announcing that the new excavations in Saqqara and in Hatshepsut Temple. Then we're going to talk about now we so close to discover a new pyramid in Saqqara. Also, for the last couple of years, we discovered a new tombs for the officials and the high priestess, and too close from the pyramid of King Sahura in Abu Sir, which lead us to know more about the Egypt history during the late period, which is during the 5th and 7th century BC. Also, we discover a new site in Asyut, in Minya, in north, like in Sharqiya, and also last year we not wondering to find that when they're trying to build a new building for Banha Medical University or hospital there, we discover a tomb was covering all the time, and when they trying to dig into both the construction of the hospital, we discover a new tomb there, because Banha, one of the most famous and most important cities in the ancient Egypt.
Well, and also these reflect the genius of ancient Egyptians and also their great history and civilization.
Yes, yes. Also in Saqqara, we discover a new tomb dated back to the 2nd dynasty. We talk about the 29th century BC, and the tomb is still preserved and exists with everything for more than 6,000 years, still or 5,000 years, still everything very well preserved there. Also in Saqqara, we discover huge tombs. Like one time we discover a workshop for mummification, which maybe lead us to know more about mummification and now solve the secrets of mummification of ancient Egypt, because we find this workshop with all vases or jars, still we kept the all liquids or chemical materials which used during the mummification ancient Egypt. Maybe now we have an answer for the secrets which kept all these years. Also in Luxor, the excavation is still working. Even in the western side of the pyramid of King Khufu in Giza, till now the Japanese university coming for make excavations here with the aid of the Egyptian Antiquities Council. They discover a new chapel close from the pyramid Khufu, and now they're trying to make a scan to know more how this chapel or this body look like, to know more about it.
Great. Also, to what extent these discoveries will list Egypt as one of the top global tourist destinations?
Okay, there is no one can ignore that Egypt is the top of the historical and the culture tourism all over the world. We lead the whole world in these patterns. So it's not just about the pyramid, but about the idea behind the pyramid. Not just about Karnak temple, the biggest temple all over the world, but why these people going to do all of that? the whole world not looking for the pyramids or temples or all these new excavations as well, not just the bricks or stones, but this the knowledge behind all of that. So how they are able to cut stone, how they are able to move a stone, how they are able to put or gathering the stones or attach it together. So if we compare between all temples in ancient Egypt and in other civilization and in other civilization, we know that Egypt in the ancient world lead as ancient era, in the pharaonic era or the ancient Egyptian time, Egypt leads the whole world as one of the great kingdom and empire all over the history. Now Egypt also still leads the whole world about the one of the patterns, one of the important patterns. It's called culture tourism and antiquities tourism. So all this pattern all over the history of the tourism was the culture and antiquities.
Well, also, what steps or measures should be taken in order to preserve these new sites from your point of view?
Okay. We can say Egypt have now professors and Egyptologists. They are very well qualified and very well educated for how preserving and how to showing and kept the old artifacts safe and preserved. So, for example, one time they're trying to move the mummy of Tutankhamun to come here and be in Egypt or be in Cairo museums, but they found that the weather is not the same conditions the mummy need to be. The mummy used to be inside the dry weather like Luxor, but here in Cairo it's more wet weather. That's why they kept the tomb still preserved and still kept inside the tomb in Luxor. So the preservation, how to make find restorations according to the guarantee of UNESCO heritage keepers, and how to preserve or kept this site still in a heritage keeper site. So we talk about the Saqqara, it's a heritage site, Giza, Luxor, the whole city of Luxor now be and the biggest museum or open museum all over the world. And also now Egypt trying to revive again the historical Cairo by making a great project to preserve and to reopen again the old heritage sites inside Cairo, and trying to put on the list of UNESCO more or add more building special mosques in Darb al-Ahmar and Khalifa in Maj Street, okay, sure, and also Khalifa districts. All these mosques have suffered for several years, but now it's revive it again.
Yes. Also, Mr. Salah, to what extent displaying the new archaeological discoveries in museums will enhance the visitor experience?
Okay, for sure, if we talk about a guest visit Cairo before 20 years ago or 25 years ago, so if he come back again to visit Egypt with his family one more time, he finds something special to see, something new to discover, something changes the history. Some artifacts maybe give us an indication for more information about a special event happened before. So, for example, last or maybe for 3 months, I think, we discovered a new site in west of Alexandria, about 15 kilometers in Hecrelabos. We discovered a head statue. From the head statue and the features of the head statue and how the fine of art, I can date it back for the Roman era, okay, but it's showing that or the last Greek era in Egypt, to which means this area which 15 kilometers far from Alexandria, which one day have important buildings, to have a very fine statue like that with the side or the size of the head, it's about 78 centimeters, which means it was a life-size statue, for sure made for someone who was special. So maybe the new discovery in Herculopolis in west of Alexandria gave us an indication to know more about the history of Alexandria during the late Greek era and the beginning of the Roman era, this transaction era. Because all our knowledge was just about Queen Cleopatra and Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, the same story. But maybe new excavations lead us to know more about the society and the politics in that time.
Great. Also, Mr. Salah, how do you see the collaboration between the Ministry of Tourism and, for example, the Ministry of Education or Higher Education by organizing trips for school students or university students in order to visit the landmarks in Egypt, like the Gem, like Luxor and Aswan? How do you see the significance of such trips and such collaboration?
Okay, yes, and for last year we can feel that between Minister of Antiquities and Tourism and the Minister of Culture and Minister of Education, which now gives permission for all schools in Egypt going to go to visit the historical site. It's so important to keep the communication or the transaction way between the new generations to know more about their history, know more about their civilization,
yes.
to have this national spirit inside them.
Raise their awareness about
Exactly.
Yes, about the great civilization and history of Egypt.
Yeah.
And also in another way it will enhance the domestic and local tourism.
Yes, for sure. And also we talk about to give them the awareness about how to trade the tourists inside the site.
Deal with the tourists.
How to deal with them, how to welcome them, to know more about the work of tour guides, why these people they are going to, what are these people explain to them, how to showing your kind, how you can show you welcome, how to show your appreciation for these people who coming for the from very far distance just to visit your country. Also the awareness of the school trips going to raise more the national spirit in the students.
Yes.
Unfortunately for last long time, the awareness about Egyptian value, the history value, was going for very low degree, especially after the attack of terrorism around the souls in Egyptian and in Egypt also, to showing that this pagan civilization, these people not worship God, these people, we have to destroy the statues, we have to destroy all this pyramid, we have to demolish it because it's just for a pagan civilization. But now to start from this young age to give them more awareness about the civilization, to keep it inside them souls.
To instill in the younger generation the sense of awareness.
To avoid any other scenario coming in future. Sure, we don't want to be in this situation, but I think in Egypt never can repeat what happened like in a country like Iraq or like Syria. When the terrorists reach Iraq, they destroyed the old Babylonian and Sumerian and Ashurian civilization, destroyed the whole, removed the whole history of Iraq. But it never happened in Egypt if we kept this awareness in the students.
Well, so moving to another point, it's winter times here in Egypt. So we need to know more about the preparation for that high season.
Okay, about the winter in Egypt, if we would compare between Egypt weather and the European and the American weather and also Canada, Egyptian weather is more warm than them weather. So before 2 years, Dr. Farmer, or the then Minister of Tourism, Dr. Khalid Al-Anani, started the campaign called Follow the Sun. And now we're going to raise it again, to raise the benefits from that. So now we encourage people again to come to visit Egypt to enjoy the weather in the morning here. For last week I was in Luxor, it was really warm, even I wear shirts there, or t-shirts there, because it's still hot there, in Luxor and also in Aswan.
Yes,
so
the weather is indeed unique.
Exactly, it's a very unique weather. That's why lead Egypt states or the administration of the Ministry of Tourism to going to encourage now to have more, to raise the capacity of the hotels in Egypt and also for the floating boats, like we called it cruises. So now Egyptian state or Egyptian government going to put a new ad. It's 50 billion Egyptian pound to raise the capacity of the chambers or rooms in hotels and also floating boats. So we talk about Egypt now have about 240,000 or 250,000 room in hotels or floating boats, and we need to double this number to be ready to occupy or to receive 30 million tourists according to our vision to receive the maximum at 2030. So after 5 years we need to receive double of our number we received. If we took this year, last year we received 15 million. After 5 years we need to receive, according to the strategy of the Egyptian state, to receive 30 million. So we need to double the number and double the number of cruises and also the chambers of hotels and the resorts everywhere in Egypt, not just to be in Cairo.
Well, also, how do you see the role of media in enhancing and boosting tourism? Do you think we need, for instance, global campaigns to promote for the landmarks here in Egypt? What do you think?
Sure, sure, sure. We need the media and now social media and newspapers, all the ways of media, if we can say. We need to find global posting for Egypt. So, for example, if we talk about Africa, we can look for Rwanda. It's one of the countries starting to be one of the or take a part from the tourism sector industry. So if we now look for Rwanda, they are now going to make a campaign and everywhere in the world, especially during the special events like Premier League and Champions League in Europe, and they know how many persons going to watch the match at this move or this time. So now we can find the labels in the stadium, visit Rwanda, visit Rwanda. So also if we just open any social media platform like Instagram, Twitter or X or Facebook, you can find now visit Dubai. All companies or all countries in the world, they not just won't stop for what they reach, they want to reach for more. So all time Egypt need to have this type of campaigns for media. So in the television, in radio, in sports events, in movie events, cinemas, festivals, everywhere we need to showing that. And I'm really happy for last few years when the Egyptian actor called Khalid Nabawi, he started going for attending these festivals like Cannes and everywhere, and he started to ask the all actors and actresses in the world, celebrities, come to visit Egypt. And that's
Yes.
lead for last few years after the good campaign in media, and also
And
how
also the social media
exactly,
plays a
and
very
how our
important
soft
role in
power
that regard.
exactly, and also how our soft power going to show Egypt, how is Egypt beautiful, how Egypt is safe. Now we have a lot of celebrities coming to visit Egypt in the last few years, like Paris Hilton, we talk like Tom Hanks come to visit Egypt
As we
last
say,
year.
the power of soft power.
Exactly, the power of soft power, for sure, for sure. Even after Egypt, Minister of Kuwait have the collaboration between the private sector and also with the government. We start now held on more wedding parties in the pyramids area to have one of the most.
Did you mention the very important point, which is the collaboration between the state and the private sector?
For
And
sure.
indeed, it helps a lot in overcoming many challenges, and this is very important.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Also to going for modernize, to put the more service, because for sure the private sector, the competition, it will benefits for us as a sector of tourism. So if I now have a collaboration between different companies, each company want to show her ability for the government or for the sector of the tourism. So that's how the competition will be lead for a lot of benefits for Egyptian tourism. For example, now after the collaboration between Egyptian Antiquities and Minister of Tourism with Orascom company, they take to.
We are not allowed to mention names.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry.
no problem.
So now they're going for have a new project in Giza complex, and we can see how the development happened after that in the area to have more service for guests. In addition to, we have now like the management of sunlight show. They're going to modernize according to the new technology we have.
Great. Allow me to go to a short break, and then we will be back to continue our discussions. So the viewers, a short break, and we will be back. So stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. Also, Mr. Salah, I would like to know more from you about your point of view. How can we diversify the sources of tourism, for instance, and not rely on certain markets? Recently, we saw different nationalities in Egypt.
Okay, first we have to going to cooperate with the new markets for Egypt. So now the economic can say plan all over the world have been changed. Now we have to go looking forward more for the east of Asia, like China, Korea, and Japan. There are three markets Egypt already have a very good campaign there. But we need also going for the new markets like Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand. They are going for a huge number now going for visit Egypt. Day by day you can find groups coming to visit Egypt. So we need to going for now direct or showing our campaigns for marketing in Egypt about the market going to see that. Also now after the collaboration between Egypt and India, Egypt received about 2 to 3 million tourists from India per year. The same we can talk about the other side of the world, like Scandinavian countries. This is a new market. Egypt, not usual, going to receive the gases from there. Also from east of Europe, like Slovenia, and also Estonia, Armenia, Latvia. All the Eastern Europe markets is now going to, now these people going to, we can say, escaped from them countries, going for sees how the world look like, and sure they won't start from Egypt. Also, by using the
you mean different nationalities and different countries started
exactly. We don't need now to just keep waiting the usual nationalities we used to find
yes.
in Egypt, like German, England, France, Italy, America, Canada, Australia. It's okay to keep our usual nationalities to, or our market already. We already secure that, but we need also to going for found or research for new markets and new nationalities to come to visit Egypt. In addition to, we have now a global trend happen. It's called Egyptomania, how the lovers of Egypt. So we need to trying to participate in this trend by we can say our social media, our soft powers.
Promoting for Egypt.
Yes, and posting and promote for Egypt, because the people already they are so awareness and so ready to hear anything about Egypt, about any new excavations, or also have a new documentary to showing on any platform. They're going to be looking for last documentary in one of the platform in America. How many views we have on this documentary about Saqqara? In just, we can say, 10 months or a year, they reach for more than 10 or 12 million view. We are talking about the documentary movie, not as an usual movie or not for songs. This number is so huge for this type of documentaries, because people now just need to hear anything about Egypt, about new excavations in Egypt. So also now we can posting for the medical tourism by Siwa. Now everyone coming to ask now today about, we need the Siwa trip for a couple or 3 days or 3 nights, 4 days.
Also Safaga sand, for instance.
Exactly. And but especially in Siwa, it's as you called it, the paradise. You can find the 3 colors in the same time, from the oasis and then the palm trees, and going for the deserts in the sky. So people coming to just for ecotourism as well. That was special in Siwa, not just the medical tourism but also eco tourism, as the natural is still pure there.
Well, and how do you see the recent digital transformation in the field of tourism and its role also in boosting tourism?
Okay. We are just going for saying the Minister of Tourism how to encourage and how to influence the private sector to going now to be more secure about the number of tourism. We're going to have a progress, so we need your help as a private sector to going to start now have new hotels and new floating boats, cruises, and going to now trying to trade more for having more transportations. We talk about number of cars and on the land, also to encourage more people to going to start their education for tourism guidance universities, because we will need for sure. And if we're going to double the number of tourists, we need to double the number of tour guides as well.
Well, Mr. Salah Hedayat, tourism expert, I would like to thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for your information, and thank you for coming today.
Yes, thanks for you, and it's an honor to me to be with you tonight.
Thank you so much. And dear viewers, by that we come to the end of this edition of Windows. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more on Nile TV International.